So for any setback, we only really need to develop two kinds of skill. These are the sort of the basic pattern of skills that we need, which will be different for any situation. I'm going to use the case of heat, dealing with heat, and in my case it's because there's a heat wave in London at the moment over the last, well, today and tomorrow. Now, I know compared to other parts of the world this is not a heat wave at all. It's only 36 degrees centigrade. But for us it's a lot. There's red alerts, people are very, very nervous. So, what are these two skills and how do they relate to the situation with heat? Well, the first is creating a sense of safety. One way to do that in the heat is just to sit in a cold bath, get under a cold shower, stay indoors with the curtains shut, the fan on, do anything we can just to stay cool. So that's one way. That's creating safety as best we can, using all our resources just to feel okay. The second skill is to actually test the edge, and that's to actually think about what the challenge that we're going to set for ourselves is, that's going to actually test how well we're able to maintain that safety, that sense of safety under a bit of pressure. And for me today, that was traveling across London. I had to think about whether it was really a good idea to make this journey, not essential but important, and to think about the water I needed, the routes I might take, the problems that might come up, and then to go on the journey and to notice what was happening in my body. So I'm here, I made it, it's all okay, it was not a big deal at all. It's just a little example of the second of these skills, which is to test that edge, to test that limit and see, can I stay with that same degree of safety? Now, the payoff for doing this across our lives in different areas is very big because we build capacity. And that's our ability to feel that sense of safety and at easiness in a growing sense of situations, growing variety of situations rather. Now, I particularly framed myself with this picture. As you can see in the top corner, there's somebody walking. That was actually taken in Florence, that picture. And it was an incredibly hot day, probably much hotter than this. And you can see this person walking looks kind of okay. It was just normal. That's what happens when we grow our capacity. But if we don't create safety first and move from that place, then we risk blowing ourselves out the water, or having to push through to make anything happen.